So this is how you make Klejner, or as I've heard them called in English, pig's ears. It's a typical Scandinavian Danish dessert, which comes out in the form of a cookie. Now be sure you have plenty of time for this, because the dough has to be made first and then has to rest for a couple of hours in the fridge, or even possibly overnight. So we're going to start tonight, and then we're going to finish our Klejner tomorrow. Now, first of all, we need 500 grams of ordinary flour. Here we go. Well, 500 grams of flour, anyway. Always start with your dry ingredients first. Now we need 125 grams of butter. Right. Now, to make a cookie dough, typical Danish way of doing so is to cut up your butter into little pieces, like so. Now I also need to put my sugar in. $125 grams of flour, 125 grams of sugar. Now one last thing, you need the skin of a lemon. If you possibly can, try to get an organically grown lemon, because that's the best part. You have to have a nice clean lemon peel. Now, there's a little more lemon peel. It should be the skin of about one whole lemon. Alright, now the trick to making a proper cookie dough is how you treat the butter. You have to mix it properly in with the sugar and the flour and the other dry ingredients. And you have to keep mixing it until it comes out looking like shredded cheese. That's the best kind of cookie dough. This is true for almost all types of cookies, butter cookies, any kind. Now, do you see how it looks like shredded cheese? Parmesan cheese? The butter is all nice and dissolved in the flour and the sugar and the lemon peel. Now you have all your dry ingredients nicely mixed. Time to mix in our wet ingredients. You need 3 eggs, 1, 2, and 3. And you need, here you go, ordinary whipping cream will be fine. Don't need to do anything to it. Just pour nice 2 tablespoonfuls right there. Okay, time to mix it again. Now again, you can use a mixer, but this being low tech in the kitchen, I'm going to use my hands. Now we have your dough all ready, and all it needs to do now is to be placed in some film or tin foil or whatever else you have, a bag. Go. And placed in the fridge until tomorrow morning. Okay, so it's the next morning. We've taken our dough out of the tea. It's time to roll out the dough. Always wear an apron. You can roll it out to the desired thickness, depending on taste. Just remember, the thicker they are, the longer they'll take to cook. But a reasonable thickness of about half an inch to an inch, I suppose. Half an inch is better. And we've got a nice, suitably sized Klejner dough. Now, in Denmark we usually have a knife especially for this, which has a round blade and beveled rims, but since I haven't been able to find this in America, we're going to just use an ordinary knife. And we're going to make a slanted slash. There we go. Through the dough. In strips on one side. And turn the dough over and make the strips slanted. On the other side, don't worry about the leftover dough. We'll scoop that up and use it in the next round. There we are. Now each of these is going to be a Klejner, so I'm going to cut a hole in the middle. It's actually quite on the thick side. And to take them up, I'm going to turn one end through the hole, and we've got a nice inside-out Klejner ready for cooking. I'll make a few more. Now we need to deep fry the Klejner, and in Denmark this usually happens in lard or what's called palmi. Here it's going to be Crisco. You can cook these in oil, provided you get a non-flavored oil and heat it up fairly well before you start. I'm going to use two of these because we have a lot of Klejner to cook. Then you take your Klejner, you put just one end through the hole, you bring it up the other side and you pull carefully. You've got a nice turned out, inside out Klejner, which I'm going to take and put in the grease. Now we're going to need something to put them on. Come back out, since they are going to be a little bit down some parchment paper. Now a sieve is probably the perfect way to pull your Klejner out and to allow it to undrip some of the fat before you put it onto the plate, but since I haven't got one, it's the old-fashioned way. You can turn it over once it's had a few moments, but it's not really necessary. I'm going to put some more in there. Now, depending on what you cook in, it is going to smell a bit. In oil, it doesn't smell at all. In Crisco, you might want to open a door or a window. That's about enough. Don't put them too closely or they'll stick together. But as soon as the fat heats up, they will be done fairly quickly. And meanwhile, you can always roll some more. Now the rest of the dough, if you feel like you've had enough and you don't want to cook anymore, it will be fine for 2 or 3 days in the fridge, or you could even freeze it, but I would not recommend it. If you just put it in the fridge for 2 or 3 days, it'll be fine. You can take it out and you can make some more another time when you run out. Time to check. Klejner, which should be this nice golden brown color. Don't worry if they seem a little soft when you take them out, they will harden afterwards. But they should be about this color. Be careful as you go on and the oil gets hot, they will change color very quickly. Smell that. It smells like proper Christmas in here. All we need now is a Christmas tree and some mulled wine. There we are, is it done? If you bake, that's okay too, that's part of the charm, and that's how you can see they're homemade. Especially how you can see they're homemade by me. And they are right now quite warm. You can eat them warm, but it's always best to wait until they've cooled off. And there's nothing like a nice, cool Klejner later, along with a glass of mulled wine. And that's it.